Hello to the 0.2% of you people who are even bothering to watch my channel anymore because it is literally all but dead. Here I am with, as you can tell, a very quick pickups video. Yes, I know, I did say I was technically retiring the channel and wasn't going to make any more of these videos, but hey, I felt like doing one of these to kill off the mood a little bit. So this is just going to be a very quick pickups video, a whole bunch of games, because my games collection has, of course, changed ever since dog years since I last showed off my game collection. So some of the games you saw in those videos I either don't have anymore or exchanged because I either didn't like them or probably would never ever play again. So without further ado, I'm just going to get straight on with it. Let's begin with a couple of PSP games, 5 of them to be exact. So we begin with YuGiOh 5D's Tag Force 4. This goes for about 20 quid on eBay, as I've seen on eBay. Got this for a $5 on CEX. A bit of damage to the cover, which is unfortunate, but still, £5. £5 for a YuGiOh game. And poor Jack Atlas got his face covered up by the sticker there. But yeah, other than the slight damage, it's in at least decent enough condition. And then the other 4 PSP games, they were all from my sister, who technically doesn't want her PSP anymore because she's selling it off, and she kindly gave me these 4 games, all of which are racing titles, and the 3 of them are Need for Speed ones. So we have Ridge Racer. This is the Platinum version, and I think this was a launch title as well, because it says, you can't see because the camera's a bit shit, it's 2004 on the copyright date, so this potentially was one of the launch titles when it was released back in the early days of the PSP, and all of these games are complete with the manual and everything. So next off we've got the Need for Speed titles. We start off with Most Wanted 510. I have never played any of these games, so I've got absolutely no clue if these are going to be any good or not. So yeah, this is basically the PSP version of Most Wanted. Pro Street, which I did actually see the PS2 version at the one of the local game stores. I forgot what it's called now, but I did see the PS2 version, and I was originally getting it, but I decided to just put it back on the shelves. But I've got the PSP version instead, so I guess that's something. And then Underground Rivals. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say about these ones at all. And then we got 3 random titles over here. We got, this one was just for shits and giggles, Eminem's Shellshocked for £5. And yeah, I know this game's going to be total shit, because I have checked some gameplay footage of it. It's literally just Crash Bandicoot. The game is literally just Crash Bandicoot, but with the Eminem's license on it. But it is complete though. The manual's in decent condition. The disc is all perfectly, well, not, I mean, the disc is perfectly okay. So it's at least a decent copy of it, even though the game's probably not going to be any good, like, at all. And then we have Island Extreme Stunts, or Lego Island 3. Just without the Lego Island name on it, because I did have Lego Island 2, The Trickster's Revenge, back in my heyday, so I don't really remember much of that game at all. And then we have my first ever GameCube title. This is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which is basically a newer version of the game released on the Dreamcast. So like I said, this is my very first GameCube title, because I have never ever had a GameCube before. Like, I know that the games are playable on the Wii, but I've never ever played a GameCube or even owned a GameCube before. So it's going to be very interesting to pick up more of these titles, especially since some of them are like getting ridiculously expensive nowadays. So yeah, I will definitely get a hold of some of these GameCube titles in the future. Who knows, there might be a couple of hidden gems. And then the CEX bag. So the more recent stuff, let's dive in. The first 3 were from the One Stop Game Shop, and we have is Buster Block for originally for 99p. I don't know what you're gonna say because it's got the mid-ass logo at the bottom. I have actually played a bit of this before because my uncle actually has a copy of this, and for a mid-ass title, it's surprisingly at least playable compared to anything else the company shat out of their arse. Because like the dingo stuff, the terrible dingo stuff that they would release on the PlayStation, and then Phoenix would basically continue that on the PS2. You know those that would have the dingo cartoons on it, though. You know those terrible looking cartoons, and then the jigsaw puzzles and the paint thingy with the world's slowest paintbrush ever. But it's a very nice, decent copy of it. It's got the manual, an incredibly short manual as well, just 4 pages total. And the disc, it's a CD as usual with these mid-ass titles. So yeah. So that is Buster Block. And then we have 2 titles on the Wii. So we have Colin McRae Dirt 2 for just $2.99. I know nothing about the Wii version. I have been interested in getting this game before on the PS3, but I know nothing about the Wii version, if it's even going to be any good or not. But interestingly, with the manual, I actually got 2 manuals because I've got 1 copy over there, and then another one, which is very interesting. It's got a little leaflet as well. No, not leaflet. A little receipt in here, because somebody originally paid $14.99 for this. So yeah, it's very interesting when stuff ends up in there. And then we have, if I can get it out, Spec Ops Origins for $4.99. Because I previously did have it on one of the games on the DS, but I just sort of gave that away. Never played this game before, so I'm very curious to see if this will even be any good or not. And then afterwards, everything else came from CX. So the first game, this is a title that was another PSP game that my sister no longer wants, and she's going to be giving it away, which is kind of funny because I now have the PS3 version. This is Split Second Velocity for just £2.50. And it's a Disney game as well. You can't see on there because the camera's a bit blind and crap. But yeah, if you can sort of see, it's a Disney game. I never even knew that they actually made this title. Because I know Disney did racing games before. They did the Mickey Speedway with a Rare on the N64, but never this sort of title. So yeah, it does look like it could be a fun racing game, and it's complete with the manual. But everything, no, not everything, at least most of the CX stuff are complete with the manual, just to point that out. 3 PS2 titles. So first off, we got Scooby-Doo Unmasked, because who can't beat a bit of Scooby-Doo for just £3? And I've also got another Scooby-Doo game on the PS2 as well, which is Night of 100 Frights. That's what it was called. And these are the only 2 Scooby-Doo games I ever had as a kid, so to get them back together again is pretty nice. Complete with the manual as well, which is beautiful. And then we have Dead or Alive 2 for just £1.50. Looks to be a fun fighting game. I have played a bit of it. It does look pretty good. Only downside is no manual. There is no manual in here of any kind, which is unfortunate, especially for a game like that, Dead or Alive. And then finally, Onimusha 3 for £3.50. I've never played any of the Onimusha games before, but it's the premise of this actually got me very interested because it's got John Reno. It's basically these 2 characters both switch positions. So the French guy right here, he ends up in his time, and this guy ends up in that time. So the premise of the game just sounds very, very just sort of weird and wacky to me, which is why I picked this one up. But yeah, complete with the manual, a little bit of damage, which again you can't tell, which is a bit unfortunate, but hey, do love me weird games. And the final two games are DS ones, one for the DS and one for the 3DS, and both are anime-based games. We have Bleach: The Blade of Fate for £3.50, which I have never seen anything related to Blade at all. I definitely know that about the franchise and how sort of popular it is, but I've never seen anything related to the show at all, or the manga to be exact. But it's the developer that actually caught my eye, because if you can see there, it is Treasure, the same people that did the Astro Boy game on the Game Boy Advance. So I'm very curious to see how decent of a game this is, because this is a fighting game. Because originally I picked it up thinking it was an RPG, but no, the Third Phantom is the RPG one. This is a fighting game instead. So it'll be cool to see how this one will work out. And last but not least, Little LBX, or Little Battlers Experience, for £6, and the Bleach one was £3.50. And again with the well-known developer, this one is level 5. So the same people who did Professor Layton, Root Galaxy, and I think they do Yokai Watch as well. When the company did Yokai Watch, I think they're presumably so. So yeah, this looks like an sort of a big action RPG title. You can customize your own LBX and do a bunch of stuff. It even says extra content such as cars, quests, and capsule toys will be made available online. So yeah, very interesting stuff, to say the least. So yes, very quick pickups video. I'm out of here. See you at the end of 2020 or some dumb shit like that.